Jai Hind to everyone. My name is Mili Srivastava and I am from IT department AKGEC Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss about file structure system in operating system. So what is file structure system? These are the basic concept of file structure system, that is file concept, access method, directory structure, file system mounting, file sharing and protection. So first of all, I want to discuss what is file. Basically, file is a named collection of related information that is recorded on secondary storage such as magnetic disks, magnetic tapes and optical disks. In general, a file is a sequence or bits, bytes or lines or records whose meaning is defined by the file's creator and user. So now what is the basic concept of file and why it is needed? Basically, we create file for any data storage, any secondary storage such as magnetic disk. When we use magnetic disk, magnetic tapes, optical disks in general, that is in that case we need to maintain a file for further access of any document, any data which we need to access and we need to modify it. Now, contiguous logical address space. What are the types? Data, numeric. There are such types of files: data, numeric, character, binary, and program. So, what is the basic structure? When we talk about basic structure of any file, a file structure should be according to a required format that the operating system can understand. So, operating system is also works as a system in which when we need to access any file, then operating system must be known the main basic definition and basic requirement format of operating system. And we can say that a file has a certain defined structure according to its type. A text file, there is some types of files such as file structure. When we talk about file structure, there are some types: non-sequence of words, byte. That is, we can also say that this is a structured file. So, simple record structure, lines, fixed length, variable length. So, a file basically has a certain defined structure according to its type. A text file is a sequence of characters organized into lines. Whenever we talk about text file, then we can say that text file is a sequence of characters organized into lines. A source file is a sequence of procedures and functions. An object file is a sequence of bytes. And so, when we talk about an object file, is a sequence of bytes organized into blocks that are understandable by the machines. Whenever we are talking about operating system basically defines different file structure. It also contains the code to support these file structures, that is Unix, MS-DOS support minimum number of files structure. So, this is basically some types of file structure, that is non-sequence of word bytes. Simple record structure. When we talk about any simple record structure, we can define file as a line, fixed length, variable length. And when we talk about complex structure, we can say that formatted document and deallocated load file. Now, can simulate last two with first method by inserting appropriate control. So, who decides whatever what kind of file we actually need to require? So, that is operating system and program. So, whenever we talk about operating system, we already say that it defines different file structures. It is also contain the code of support these file structure, that is Unix, MS-DOS support minimum number of file that can be used structurally. So, next is, whenever we create any file, there are some basic attributes of file, that is name, file name. We can give any name to any file, like only information kept in human readable format. This is what type of file, location where we insert our file, where we store our file, size of the file, current size, protection. Protection is also very important part of any file system. So, time, date, and user identification. These are the some basic attributes of files. Whenever we talk about file types, refers to the ability of operating system to distinguish difference. With the help of these attributes, we can distinguish different types of files such as text file, source file, and binary files, etc. Many operating system supports many types of files. Many types of files. Operating systems like MS-DOS and Unix have the following types of files, like ordinary files, directory files, special files. So, what are ordinary files? When we talk about these are files that contains user information. That is simply we can say that this is an ordinary file only, and these type of file may have text, database, or executable programs. So, the user can apply various operations on such file, like some information which need to required maybe modified, delete, add, or even remove the entire file. User can use any operation in the file for the maintenance of file and the specification of file. So, this is ordinary file. Now, next is directory file. What are the directory file? When we talk about directory file, these file contains list of file names and other information related to these files. These types of file is known as directory files, such as whenever we store mobile numbers and there is some directory, and we can say that indexing. So, that type of files is known as directory files. Next is special files. Some special files which are more secured and government based file, that files are known as special files. Like these files are also known as device file. These files represent physical device like disks, terminals, printers, networks, such as tape, drivers, etc. So, special file, we can say that a special file is a very useful and important part of operating system. Basically, these files are two types, that is character special files and block special files. So, what are the character special files? When we talk about data is handled character by character, as in case of terminals or printers, that is character special files, and that type of file is known as character special files, and we perform any operation with the basis of characters. And now next is block special file. First is character special and the second is block spatial. So, these two are the types of spatial file. First is character spatial files and next is block spatial file. When we talk about block spatial files, data is handled in blocks as in the case of disks and tape. So, this is these are two spatial file attributes. Now, next is file operation. What kind of operation we have done in any file? We can, when we create any file, first of all we create any file, second write, read, reposition within file seek time, delete, truncate, open, close. So, these are the basic file operations which are also very important. So, I already told you about file types, that is file types like executable, object, secure code, batch, text, word processor, library. In this diagram, we separated files some different parts. So, basically, we can say that these are the parts of any file. Like this file is this file is executable or not? Source code, what are the source code of particular that file? Now, what are the library, word processor, text documents? So, these are the file types programs. So, when we talk about file types, these are the some basic operations in which we create in any file, which we have done in any file. So, these are executable, object, source code, word processor, library. These are some important aspect of any file structure, which is very important and useful for further details and further queries. Now, what is access methods and why it is needed? What is the requirement of access methods? When we talk about file system, so access of any file is one of the most important part. How we can access that file, that is some access methods, direct access required. These are some mechanism required, which is file access mechanism. So, what is file access mechanism? Access or access methods. A file access methods refers to the manner in which the records of a file may be accessed, and these are several ways to access files. Like we can say that direct access or sequential access, random access, indexed sequential access, space allocation. So these are the basic types of access method. And why it is required? When we access any method, when we access any file, so these file access mechanism refers to the main part in which the record of any file may be accessed. There are several ways, like sequential access, direct access, and indexed sequential access. So when we are talking about sequential access, in sequential access method works just like an array. We can say that a sequential access is that in which the records are accessed in some sequence. There are some sequence which is very important and main part of sequential access method, that is the information in the file is processed in order, one order after the other. Now, this access method is the most primitive one. For example, we can say that compiler usually access files in this fashion. So, sequential access, when we are talking about sequential access, we can take example of compiler. Compiler works as a sequential access. So, we can say that sequential access method, example, compiler. Compiler is the example of sequential access method. Second is direct access. When we talk about direct access, direct access is also known as random access. Random access files organization provides accessing the records directly. Each record has its own address on the file by the help of which it can be directly accessed for reading or writing. So, this method is known as direct access. And the records need not be in any sequence within the file, and they need not to be adjacent location on the storage medium. So, these types of files are in sequential direct access, read and write, and we can say that we can direct access that file. We are not wasting, we can't waste our time in sequential way when we are talking about sequential way. So, one by one we can search, we have to search our file, but in direct access method we can directly access that file which we required. Now, next is this is the example of sequential access. This is beginning and when we search any file in sequential manner, so we are starting from beginning and goes towards end, is the main process of sequential access method. This is the example of direct access. Can say in direct access method there is a pointer which is known as set pointer, and we set that pointer towards that file which are required, which we needed, and that set reset method, with the help of these programming, we can directly access our file. Now, third type of file is known as indexed sequential access method. So, what is indexed sequential access method? Basically, in indexed sequential access mechanism is built up on the base of sequential access. An index is created for each file which contains pointer to various blocks, and indexed is searched sequentially, and its pointer is used to access the file directly. So, we can say that by this example diagram, that is the indexing of these files. So, if we want this file, we can directly access these files with the help of index. We can't search one by one. We need not to be searched one by one all files. So it is there is a lot of utilization of time, and there is no any time wastage. So this is example of indexed or based access. Now next is directly access. What is directory structures? So these are the indexed allocation. And when we talk about file are allocated this disk spaces by which operating system. So when after the allocation, after the access, we can allocate, that is also known as space allocation. How space allocation works for any file, any particular file. So we can say that directory structures. So file are allocated disk spaces by operating system. Operating system deploy following three main ways to allocate disk space to files, like contiguous memory allocation, linked allocation, and indexed allocation. When we talk about directory structure, a collection of nodes containing information about all files. So we maintain here directory, and this is the file. Basically file 1 directory is created here, and there are so many. This is also known as level 1 directory. This is also known as level 1 directory, which are connected one-to-one relation, and there is you can say that one-to-one relation directory and file. Both the directory structures and the file resides on disk. Backups on these two structures and kept on the tape. So this is basically directory structure. This is typical file system organization diagram. I already talked about in paging and segmentation. There are a lot of storage which are divided into some segments, and that segments are used like partition A, partition 1. This is file, and this is directory of corresponding file. And suppose these two files are stored in same or disk 1, which is known as disk 1, and there is third partition, disk 2 and disk 3. So basically this is typical file system operation diagram. Now basically when we are talking about directory, what information which are required for any user, that is name of directory, type, address, current length, maximum length, date last access, date last updated, and owner ID, protection information. These are the some information which are required and mandatory for any device directory. What are the operation performed any directory? That is search, create, delete, list of rename, traverse the file system. These are the basic operations of directories or of any file system. And how we can say that this file structure is more feasible than this, and when we talk about comparison, so what are the file system, what are the file access system is better than these. So these are the some like efficiency, locating of a file quickly. Whenever we locate, whenever we search our file immediately or quickly, so we can say that type of location, that type of file allocation, directory allocation method is better than other. Next is naming. With the help of naming, convenient to user, like when we save our data, so we can save that some particular name. That is when a file is used, information is read and accessed into computer memory. So naming is also very important part of any directory system. Grouping. What is the significance of grouping? Grouping, logical grouping of files by property. Example, all Java programs, all games, like when we create in our system, we create some different folders, and we name that folders, like this is game folder, this is Java program, this is C program. So with the help of grouping, we can identify, we can search easily all our data. So these are the main significance, main parts of file efficiency. These are the some basic levels of directory. So there are single level, 2 level and tree structure. There are 3 level or 3 types of structure of directory system. And when we talk about single level directory for all user, so there is one-to-one relation. One file, there is one directory is connected with one file. So these type of structure is known as single level directory. So what are the limitation of the single level directory? That is naming problem and grouping problem. When we talk about grouping, so we create this name files, and these are the files are located in somewhere else in memory. So there is some problems like naming problem and grouping problem. Next is an example of single level, and the second is 2 level directory system in separated directory for each user. Like some connected files are linked with the same directory. This is the we can say that this is the 2 level directory system. Like user 1 use this file, user 2 use this file, user 3 use this, and user 4 this. So path name can have the same file name for different user, and efficient searching, no grouping capability. So our focus, our main motive is efficient searching with the help of file management system. Our main motive is efficient service searching. When we talk about efficient service, we are these concept minimized, like naming, path and directory access methods. So all these are maintained only for the efficient searching. Next is tree structure directory. Tree structure directory, there is some advantage of tree structure directory. Suppose in future we have to delete this file, so it will not affect other files. So these are the main, this is the main advantage of tree structured file or tree structured directory. Like we need to modify that data. Here we need to modify some data. So we put that data only here only. So we can't touch that type of other files or user directories. Now, these are the tree structure directories. So what is the purpose of tree structure directory? Same, efficient searching, grouping capability, current directory, working directory, like these type of names with the help of tree structure directory. I already told you what are the significance or what are the advantage of this tree structure file, that is efficient searching. In tree structure directory, absolute or relative path name, created new file. Whenever, I already told you, whenever if we required any new file directory, so we can put that anywhere. We can't, we need not to be touch any other file. So this is the example of tree structure directory. And the last is a cyclic graph directory, have shared subdirectories and files. These type of structure, this is a cyclic graph directory. So when we compare all the directory types, so how we can say that what type is better than what type? So all these terms are depend upon what kind of file, what kind of motive, what kind of purpose we need to create that file. So depending upon the situations or requirement, all the file systems are usable, but a cyclic graph directory is used for high level files or high level sequential files. This is an example of a cyclic graph directory. Two different names. What are the solution? Back pointer, so we can delete all pointers, variable size records a problem. Back pointer using a daisy chain organization, entry hold count solution. Basically these are the some solutions which are handled by a cyclic graph directly. This is general graph directly, which are the combination of a cyclic and tree structure. So this is all for today. Thank you so much.